Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling Lean Six Sigma, or LSS as it's often called.
That's right.
It's a method really designed to seriously boost efficiency and quality. Now, it's not brand new, but it seems to be having a real resurgence, particularly now in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, with current economic pressures, operational challenges,
Mm.
businesses are definitely looking at it again.
As a significant solution, maybe.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we really want to focus on why LSS is so pertinent now,
Hmm.
especially for accounting and finance professionals.
Right, particularly within manufacturing organizations.
And we're even seeing, more manufacturing coming back to North America, reshoring.
That's a big factor. So our mission today is basically to show you, our listener, especially if you're in finance, that understanding LSS isn't just like an abstract thing for engineers.
Not at all.
It can actually empower you to really add significant value to improvement efforts in your company. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. At its core, what is Lean Six Sigma? What's it all about?
Well, fundamentally, LSS is it's a structured approach, very data-driven,
Oh, yeah.
focused on improving performance by, well, systematically getting rid of waste and reducing variation in process.
Waste and variation, got it.
And it's often represented by these 5 stages, interconnected stages, called DMAIC.
DMAIC.
Yeah, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control.
Define, measure, analyze, improve, control. Okay, DMAIC. Sounds like a roadmap for making things better.
It really is.
You mentioned it's financially driven. How does that specifically link up with accounting and finance work?
Well, that's what's really interesting here, the inherent financial grounding.
Mhm.
LSS is all about achieving, measurable financial results.
Right, which is their language.
Exactly. It's something accountants and finance pros deeply understand and are involved in daily. Often the operations teams focus on the process itself,
Mm,
but finance brings that crucial perspective of opportunity cost, the true ROI.
the bottom line impact.
Precisely. And finance teams often play a really vital role in LSS projects, sometimes supplying the essential data for the analysis, sometimes even leading the initiatives.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about smoother operations. It's directly seeing that impact on the bottom line.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned an integrated approach earlier. What does that actually look like? So instead of just one department fixing its problem.
Right. LSS really encourages breaking down those traditional departmental silos, how it can be.
Oh, yeah.
So it actively brings together people, processes, and technology. The goal is collaborative problem solving.
Makes sense. A broader view.
Yeah, it creates a much more comprehensive and also usually a more effective improvement strategy.
Yeah.
And you can imagine this wider perspective can really elevate the role of accounting and finance.
How so?
It positions them more as strategic leaders who genuinely understand how operations and finance are interconnected.
That really clicks. Okay, so if someone in accounting or finance is hearing this and thinking, interesting, how much do they need to know? I've heard about different belts, not fashion accessories, I assume.
Definitely not. No, the belt system is really just a clear framework. It defines different levels of LSS proficiency.
Okay.
It signals someone's understanding and their capacity to contribute. So at the entry level, you've got the yellow belt.
Yellow belt. Okay, what does that involve?
A yellow belt basically has a foundational grasp of LSS principles. And importantly, they know the vocabulary, the terminology.
So they can follow the conversation.
Exactly. They can effectively support projects led by, say, green or black belts. And because they have this basic training, they're often quite good at spotting potential areas for improvement in their own daily work.
So awareness and support. Got it. What's the next level up from yellow?
That would be the green belt. A green belt has a much more robust understanding of all those DMAIC phases we mentioned.
Define, measure, analyze.
Improve control.
You're right.
They're capable of analyzing and actually solving quality issues, often within their own department or functional area.
Okay, so more hands-on problem solving.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But they typically still operate under the guidance of the black belt.
Right, which brings us to the black belt. That sounds pretty serious, a significant level of expertise.
Oh, it is. It's a big step up. A black belt professional shows a really high level of competence in LSS. That includes knowing various supporting tools and techniques.
Like what kind of tools?
Things like statistical process control charts, maybe regression analysis, stuff that's crucial for really deep data analysis.
Okay, the heavy-duty analytics.
Yeah. And they're leaders. They can manage cross-functional teams effectively, navigate the inevitable team dynamics, assign roles.
So project management skills, too.
Big time. And crucially, They act as change agents. They lead those bigger transformational LSS projects that have an organization-wide impact. Plus, they coach and mentor the green and yellow belt teams.
Wow. Leaders, mentors, change agents, heavy hitters. Is there anything beyond black belt? You mentioned master black belt.
Yes, particularly in larger organizations, you'll find master black belts. These folks operate at a very, very strategic level.
Okay.
Their job is really translating the big picture business goals into a coherent LSS strategy, and then figuring out the specific tactics to get there.
Setting the direction for LSS in the company?
Exactly. They lead the development of LSS skills across all belt levels, and they ultimately ensure the quality, the value, and importantly, the long-term sustainability of all the LSS projects.
That's quite a hierarchy of skills. Very clear. Now, you mentioned LSS gets applied to various projects. Can you give us some concrete examples, maybe starting with those traditional manufacturing applications?
Absolutely. And because LSS really emphasizes SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely.
Right, SMART goals.
The tangible results are often really clear. For instance, we've seen manufacturers increase their first run parts. That's the percentage of parts made right the first time.
Okay, a key metric.
Huge metric, going from, say, 60% up to an impressive 90%.
Wow, from 60 to 90, that's a massive jump. Think of the reduction in waste and rework costs there.
Incredible impact, yeah. Another common one involves reducing what they call BSD scrap.
BSD?
Bent, scratched, or damaged scrap. Especially in companies making things like building envelopes, like windows or facade panels, LSS projects have demonstrably cut that waste down.
Reducing physical waste. Okay.
And we've also seen big improvements in customer service aspects. Like one company, they managed to reduce the lead time for customer replacement part orders by 41%.
41%. That's substantial for customer satisfaction.
Huge.
Yeah.
Those are really impressive, quantifiable results. Really shows the measurable part of SMART, doesn't it?
It really does. What else have you seen out there?
Well, think about the challenge of getting temporary employees up to speed quickly in manufacturing. It's a common issue.
Yeah, training time is costly.
Exactly. LSS has been used successfully to actually reduce the learning curve ramp-up time for temps, in one case by 2 full weeks.
2 weeks? That translates directly to faster productivity, lower training costs.
Right. And another example, a food processing plant used LSS principles and managed to increase their daily meat production by 25%.
25% increase in output. These examples really paint a picture of LSS's power in that traditional manufacturing setting.
They do.
But you also hinted earlier about some emerging applications. What's new? What's exciting in the LSS world now?
Yeah, it's fascinating how LSS is adapting to tackle more contemporary challenges. A really significant area now is Green Lean Six Sigma. GLSS.
Green Lean Six Sigma. So adding an environmental angle.
Precisely. It integrates sustainability goals, the whole ESG framework, environmental, social, governance, right into the LSS methodology.
Okay.
So the focus broadens. It's about minimizing waste in all its forms, conserving resources, ensuring you're complying with environmental regs.
And meeting public expectations too, I guess.
Definitely. Meeting those growing expectations for corporate sustainability. It might involve, say, redesigning a process not just to be faster, but to use less water or energy, or to generate less hazardous waste.
Interesting. So it's not just about the financial efficiency anymore. It's adding environmental responsibility, that wider societal impact.
Exactly. It's becoming much more integrated.
What other emerging areas are adopting LSS?
Well, supply chain resilience, that's become hugely critical, hasn't it? Especially after all the disruptions we've seen globally.
Absolutely. Post-pandemic, everyone's rethinking supply chains.
Right. And LSS, specifically that DMAIC framework, gives you a structured way to identify the weak points, the vulnerabilities, and then optimize those supply chain processes.
So even if companies move away from, say, extreme just-in-time.
Yeah, even with that potential shift, LSS is still essential for building agility, improving visibility, making the whole chain more robust.
That makes a ton of sense in today's unpredictable world. And lastly, you mentioned Industry 4.0, smart factories, automation. How does LSS fit in there?
This is a really compelling intersection. As manufacturers adopt more, IoT, Internet of Things.
Sensors everywhere.
Right. And AI, artificial intelligence. LSS actually provides the crucial foundation. It gives you the structured data and the standardized processes that these advanced technologies need to work effectively.
Okay, so the tech needs good processes to work on.
Think of it this way. AI is powerful, but it needs good data and well-defined processes to learn from and optimize. LSS provides that. For instance, real-time data from IoT sensors on a machine.
Yeah.
That data can feed directly into the measure phase of a black belt project, aiming to, say, reduce machine downtime.
Ah, I see the connection, using the new tech within the LSS framework.
Exactly. Now, honestly, the integration of LSS and Industry 4.0 is still relatively early days for many.
Still evolving.
Yeah. But the potential there for driving even bigger improvements in quality,
Mm-hmm.
efficiency, and sustainability is just tremendous.
Okay, so LSS has this strong track record. It's clearly adapting. Let's bring it back home now to our main focus. Why is this specifically a strategic advantage for people in accounting and finance, especially in manufacturing? This is where it gets really interesting for our listeners.
Absolutely. Because accountants and auditors, they just have this unique viewpoint in an organization, don't they?
You really do. A bird's eye view sometimes.
Yeah, a comprehensive understanding of operations, access to all that vital data, financial and operational data, and they're often involved in strategic planning anyway.
Right, they see beyond just one department.
Exactly. They naturally see past those individual silos, which, as we said, is crucial for successful cross-functional LSS projects.
So they have the visibility. And you mentioned their natural focus aligns well. How so?
Well, think about it. Their inherent focus on accuracy, on control, on structure,
Mm-hmm. Detail-oriented.
it aligns perfectly with the core principles of LSS methodology, which is all about measurable improvements, process efficiency, control.
I feel like they're predisposed to it.
In a way, yes. They're already thinking in terms of data analysis, financial impact. They essentially, they already speak the language of LSS.
So they're kind of fluent already. How can they actively contribute then to LSS projects? What's their role?
Oh, in numerous really significant ways. First off, they're often the primary source for a lot of the crucial data you need during those measure and analyze phases of DMAIC.
Providing the raw material for analysis.
Exactly. Then they play a vital role in quantifying the success, putting it in concrete financial terms, calculating that all-important ROI.
Making the business case.
Absolutely. And furthermore, because they're often involved in strategic planning, they help ensure that LSS initiatives are actually aligned with the company's overall corporate goals.
So data source, measuring success, ensuring strategic alignment. Makes sense.
It's a powerful combination.
Okay, so we see the clear wins for the organization. But what's in it for the accounting and finance professionals themselves? Why should they get involved?
That's a key question. There are several real advantages for them personally and professionally. First, LSS gives them a structured framework to enhance their own efficiency and effectiveness.
Improving their own workflows.
Yes, and especially as organizations track more non-financial metrics these days, LSS helps manage those too. Secondly, by actively participating in, maybe even leading LSS projects,
Yeah.
they can significantly boost their professional image and standing. It shows innovative thinking, a commitment that goes beyond just the numbers.
Demonstrating broader value.
Right. And finally, LSS offers a really robust, proven methodology for mitigating risks through better processes and stronger controls, which is always top of mind for finance and audit.
Better controls, risk mitigation. That definitely resonates. So it really sounds like a clear win-win.
It really is.
The organization gets better efficiency, better quality, and the accounting and finance pros get valuable skills, raise their profile, become more strategic.
Precisely. LSS provides this powerful toolkit for accounting and finance professionals in manufacturing, especially, as we said, in today's climate, where efficiency and strategic alignment are just paramount.
Okay, so let's try and wrap things up here. We've seen that Lean Six Sigma, LSS, is clearly a valuable methodology, increasingly relevant today. And it's particularly potent for accounting and finance professionals within manufacturing, including those companies, bringing operations back here to North America.
Absolutely.
It really offers them significant opportunities for leadership, for making substantial contributions, not just cutting costs, but really driving overall organizational improvement and hitting those big strategic goals.
That's an excellent summary. And, this really leads to an important question for you, the listener.
Yeah.
How might these principles, these LSS ideas, and maybe even the different belt levels we talked about, yellow, green, black,
Right, the whole spectrum.
how might they be relevant within your own role or your specific organization?
Exactly. It's worth considering, isn't it? How could a deeper understanding of LSS actually position you, if you're in accounting or finance, as a key strategic driver of value in your company?
It shifts the perspective.
It really does. It's not just about managing the numbers anymore, is it? It's about actively shaping a more efficient, more effective future for the whole organization. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.